A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you to the Storm Report right here live from the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University. Another jam-packed program here for you this afternoon. We will be joined by the head coach for ACU Football, Mr. Jeff Bowen. He will join us in segment number 2. We'll begin tonight's show with football players Griffin, Meier, and Justin Wright. And then we will also be welcoming to the program men's soccer assistant coach, Mr. Joe Jolly, along with goalkeeper Carlos Gallardo. And how about CG putting on a show this past week, net mining for this soccer team. So we'll talk a little soccer with Joe Jolly and Carlos Gallardo. And the team went to Oklahoma this past week, so we'll talk about their success. And I'm Kevin Derryberry, and my broadcast partner over here is Ed Cole. And we would like to welcome to the set Mr. Griffin Meier and Justin Wright, two standouts this past weekend in the victorious for ACU football team. They won 21-20, come from behind victory. And Ed, how are you, my friend?
Good evening from way down here.
It's a pleasure to have you on board once
Gentlemen,
again.
thank you for coming.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Let's start out with a couple of things. For Griffin Meier, a product of Valor Christian High School by way of Donnie Yantis. And for Griffin, 11 tackles this past week in that win. Outstanding play from him. And for Justin Wright, 130 yards a couple of weeks ago. This past week, a huge touchdown in the fourth quarter. His first touchdown as a member of the ACU Firestorm football team. So we welcome these guys in. Griffin, welcome aboard. Justin, glad to have you here.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Well, first, Justin, we'll start with you because you are to my left. And congratulations on the win. What did it feel like to bust into the end zone in such a critical moment in the game?
Man, it was just a blessing to be able to have that opportunity, near there towards the goal line. I came in here as a bigger back, so I appreciate the coaches for giving me the opportunity to give me the ball inside the 5-yard line and trust me to get it in for them.
I'm not sure. I have to do this double check that, but listed as a fullback maybe at some point. I don't know. Are we listing as a running back? That's a Coach Bowen question, but either way, running back.
I call myself
fullback.
a super back.
Yeah.
I try to play fullback, running back, off the ball, tight end. I try to do all that.
There was a guy that played for the Bears a couple years back. They called him the ultra back. His name was Raymond Harris. You have to do a little digging on that. But you might be in that ultra back category. Very similar size, but can really do some damage. And a little shiftiness too, huh?
Yes, sir. Try to be at least a little bit athletic, Coaches call me fat, but,
Wow, that's fat, like PHAT.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, Griff, a little comment for you. What did it feel like to be victorious, then also make that contribution with double digits and tackles?
It was an awesome game. It was awesome to be part of that. We were sure we were going to win the whole time. I mean, we were confident the whole time. It was fun to just be on that defense, flying around. We were in it till the end. We kept fighting. Offense got the job done at the end. TD with that amazing touchdown got it done. It was awesome to watch.
It was a ton of fun for us, that's for sure.
Oh, my gosh. Griff, as tough as it was for the defense to try to contain TD, if you were the defensive back, you were on the other side, how would you contain TD on a play like that? You just play your zone, play your area? How do you play a guy like that can just run all over the place and just wreak havoc on the defense?
Yeah, as a DB, you can't get too caught up with the quarterback. You got to defend your guys. That was maybe a mistake they made, looking at the quarterback not staying on their guy in the back of the end zone. TD ended up finding him, getting that touchdown after that crazy scramble. So
I bet you're yelling your heart out on the sidelines. TD.
Yeah, I was over there just holding my breath, watching him run around. Missed three, got out of 3 tackles, found him.
I was surprised they didn't spy him, really. Like, they didn't have any kind of accountability for him.
Yeah.
Backyard football, and you're like, that's not. You don't want to have him back there playing backyard football because he will put the hurt on. Yeah. And certainly he did.
Our receivers running around well. They were getting open, putting their hands up. Made it easy for him. Yeah.
Kevin, talking about speaking of the hurt, the guy to your immediate left, he's hurting defenses. So Justin, when you're a wrecking ball, you know how you see a wrecking ball destroy a building. You're destroying defenses by the way you like that touchdown run. There's guys that you're just bouncing off guys. What was that like when you come up with that immediate contact? You bust off that contact, and another guy comes up on you. You truck that guy, and you get into the end zone. You're like, I'm not going to be denied. I'm getting in the end zone.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's a mentality, just like you mentioned, nobody's going to stop me. At this point, I'm going to get into the end zone one way or another. And then on top of that, it's the training that, that you put into it. You try and get your body ready for those moments, and be able to absorb contact and keep moving forward. And on top of that, just try and be explosive and be able to make a play, athletically as well.
Griffin Meier, Justin Wright, join us here on the site. Justin, you mentioned the idea of contact and having your body ready and being prepared for that. It's got to be therapeutic for you to thump people, huh? I mean, it looks so. I think we even mentioned, and this might be a little bit embellished, right? And I like to do this every now and then. But Earl Campbell, I don't know if you know who this dude is. And this guy had a mentality, a certain way of running.
Coach knows.
Yeah, Coach Bowen knows.
And
Coach knows him.
The dude he was an absolute animal. And I tell you what, you have some similarities as far as those characteristics, if you will.
I appreciate that very much. Yeah, you just try and play to who I am. God made me, a 5'9" thicker dude. So I try and play to my strengths. Run through arm tackles and and run by people when I can. So just try and use my frame to my advantage. You know what I mean?
There was a spin move in that touchdown, I think.
Yeah, there was a spin move. Yeah, there was a little spin move there.
There was a little spin move. I think there was a hop in there too.
Yeah, jumped over
jump a little bit.
Yeah, jumped over the first guy and spun off the next one. But yeah, you wish your whole life, you're 6 foot, 6'1", whatever, you want this and that and the third, but ultimately, God made me who I am for a reason, and I just got to roll with that and make it shake with what I got. So,
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Bless you for that, my friend. So, Griff, we were talking before the show about one statistical play in the game, and it was just a lot of fun. Martin Rodriguez was involved in the same play. Then you ended up recording a strip sack and a fumble recovery. If you could take us through the play and what in the game it was, because it seemed like it was a pivotal type play.
Yeah, it could have been a controversial defensive back play. I was in what's called cloud. So I'm supposed to be covering the flats, the short routes that come out. I was on the left side, from a defensive perspective, and the whole play was flowing away from me, and no receivers were in my zone. And I just saw a lane straight to the quarterback. I think our linebacker Javier Fernandez blitzed, and the right tackle picked him up. So I saw a lane, and I was moving over to the other side of the field to look for receivers that were open. And I saw the quarterback kind of standing there, not looking like he was finding anybody. So I just instinctively took off and got in there, got him.
The anticipation, right? I mean, that's you like you said, instinctively you read and reacted and got yourself in position to make a play.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, Griff, just like you read and reacted on an interception, take us through that pick that you got early in the game.
Yeah, I was man coverage, and we have Coach Marcellus Justin. He's given us some new techniques this year in the cornerbacks. I was playing a technique called off, so I just kind of backpedal, waiting to see what the receiver does, and then he went on a fade. So I was backpedaling, I just ran with him. And I was chest to chest with him, and at that time I can look back because I have him where I know he's at, and I look back at the quarterback and I just see the ball come up, so I came off it and got that interception.
How about a pick, another takeaway?
Yep.
Anytime you get a takeaway, it's always welcome. No question about that.
Give another opportunity to these guys in the offense.
We're going to talk with Cam Tibbetts about Cam Tibbetts with Coach Bowen. He was the Bell Lexus player of the game because he obviously stands on his head in a routine way. We've seen this many times. Have you had a chance to go against Cam in practice? And I'm guessing if you see him over there, if he's coming right, you're going left, or is your mindset saying, you know what, I'll thump this dude too? I mean, what's the reaction there? Because we want to take care of our own guys, but I don't know if I would want to run into Cam Tibbetts right now.
Cam's a beast.
So well.
Cam's a beast.
A monster right now.
Yeah. We have some core values on the team, and one of those is iron sharpens iron. So I always look forward to the opportunity to go against our ones because we got some guys on defense who can really play, like you mentioned, Cam, and obviously Griff and some other guys. So
Moses Smith's a pretty good one too.
Moses is pretty good. Moses is pretty good. Yeah,
he's pretty good.
No, you try not to duck the smoke, I guess you would say. You try and take that on, as much as you can. But it's not always fun going against Cam and Moses and those guys because there's some ball players. But you try and just appreciate the competition that it is, and just going against guys like that. They make me better for sure, and I'm just hoping that I make them better as well.
Well stated.
J-Dub, give some love to your offensive line because
Come on now.
Without them, I mean, you could do it, but you need those 5 guys to block for you and open those lanes up for you.
Come on, Will Chambers, that's my guy. He was on here last week, man. Mm-hmm. He's a stud. I've had an opportunity to play with some really good offensive linemen in my college football career, and Will's up there with the best of them. Super smart player, really athletic, strong for his size. They got him listed at like 270, 265. I don't know. That might be giving a little bit of love to my boy Will, but
we talked to him about that last week.
But yeah, he can play. He can play absolutely. Mm-hmm. Meier gets it done. Mason on the left, Cox he can play. we got a bunch of guys that are just super physical. We try and play downhill, and I just try and, stay behind my pads when I'm running behind it because I know they're going to get movement and give me an opportunity to go gash the defense.
Griff, let's take it to the other side of the ball for just a second. You got some – when we talk about the dudes in the interior to play against, and for you in that secondary, we got Jordan Francis back there. You mentioned Jackson Ortiz, and then we have Drew Ni Yang-Wei. So what's it like? What's your relationship with those guys in the secondary?
Yeah, we've started to do meetings more together as a group, cornerbacks and safeties. I think that's definitely helped us. Every Tuesday we do a meeting with the whole defense, linemen, linebackers, and everybody. It's definitely helped us become more of a one unit, have one mindset. That's another one of our core values on the team. It's good to be with those guys. We're growing every week in practice, every day, getting better at communication, being able to play together, understand all of our defensive things that we have to do. Everyone has a job, and when we work together and communicate well, we play really well together.
Who leads that team meeting, that defensive unit? Is that Coach Sewell, or is that a team member? Or?
When it's the whole defense together, it's Coach Sewell.
Okay.
Yeah, defense coordinator.
Right on. I didn't get a chance to see Coach Sewell at the end of this past week's game, but the first couple weeks, he kind of had that, funky smile. And I haven't seen that smile just yet. I'm hoping that he had that smile after the game on Saturday, but who knows? Maybe he still has the funky smile. I'm not sure, but we appreciate it anyway.
Griff, you must have been reading my mind because I was going to ask you about communication because I noticed a lot of times in the game that everybody in the entire defense, but especially the secondary, you guys are also always constantly communicating with each other, guiding guys where they need to be and the proper positioning for a play. Yeah, just go a little bit more into the communication aspect of what you have to do as a secondary.
Well, a lot of it is game plan during the week. We look at the plays we know the team's going to like to do. We look at the routes. We look at our coach draws up the routes. That's Coach Justin. He draws up the routes for us of what he's concerned about, what might go against some of our strengths as a defense, some things that we might need to look for. And then so through the week we're doing that. We have our scout team offense that's big to contributing to our success on Saturdays, and they're giving us a look, showing us what the team is going to do, and then we try to communicate and think about what we've been learning, how we can play those plays that we're going to see that upcoming Saturday.
Good stuff, Ed. Great stuff. We're dropping terms like cloud and some man-to-man coverage, interesting stuff. We can always learn more about that, but very, very astute, and we appreciate your knowledge there, Griff. One other thing before we bring up head coach Jeff Bowen, my guy to my left here, out of Lathrop High School, we're talking Justin Wright, and 4-year varsity player, 1,500 yards from scrimmage his senior year. So it's not like he's just figured out how to play football here at the NAIA level. This young man has come here with the ability to play this game, well recruited by Coach Bowen and staff. And so another godsend here at ACU.
And then, Kev, when you look at Lathrop and what else, he was also wrestling for 4 years. He did baseball, track and field.
Yeah.
J-Dub, talk about the wrestling aspect of it. I would imagine that really helped you with the strength aspect of playing football, right?
Yeah, I would. Looking at the sports that I've played through my life, I played a lot of sports growing up, but if there was one that translated to football the most, I would feel like it was wrestling. Just with your body strength, balance, understanding leverage, and things like that. And obviously, on the defensive side of the ball, wrestling helps you tackle a bunch too. So I don't get to display that as much, being on offensive side of the ball, but wrestling is directly translated to football on multiple levels, even from a mental toughness aspect, the cutting weight and the all that jazz and just the grind of wrestling, man. Truthfully, if you can, lose a bunch of weight and practice in a 100-degree room and stuff like that, the rest of it, gets a little bit easier after that.
Yeah.
We've had Coach Butterfield on. He's our wrestling coach, and all those things that you just mentioned right there in a short order. We've talked about that with Coach Butter at length, and so I don't know if the seasons cross up, but you should maybe check in with him because he's always looking for some help. Yeah. If nothing else, a motivational speaker is always good too. So you clearly have your act together, and the game of wrestling and the mental side of that too. And that's what we see how it helps you on Saturdays for ACU and for Jeff Bowen. Gentlemen, we appreciate you. Ed could talk to you for the next 45 minutes. They've asked me to move on to get head coach Bowen on here, so we're going to talk to the victorious head coach. But we appreciate you, Griffin.
Awesome.
And Justin.
Thank you guys so much.
Continued success, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll get it done. We got Carol Calls
Yes, sir.
next week, so we appreciate that. We're going
Thank
to take
you.
a quick break. We're going to pay a couple bills, and when we come
My
back,
man.
we'll speak to the front man of ACU Football, Jeff Bowen, right after this. We welcome you back inside the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University for the Storm Report for the 18th day of September. It's kind of hard to imagine we are already cruising through the middle of September. I'm Kevin Derryberry, and my broadcast partner over there is Ed Cole. The man in the middle, the front man for ACU Football, the victorious head coach, is Jeff Bowen. Jeff, welcome in. How are you this evening?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing fantastic.
Very good.
21-20 was the score. We got it done, and, I don't know if you have a chance to go out there, you and Heather, doing a little shopping at all, maybe go to the grocery store, maybe stop over at the mall or Costco or something. Everybody's got their Halloween stuff out, Coach. All their gear's out already. And so my neighbors have everything out already, full-blown setup. Okay. I bring this up to a point is because there were points in the game that were kind of eerie. They were kind of spooky. They were similar to the game that we played those guys almost 1,500 days ago. And at one point during the game, Coach, I'm asking you, my question for you is going to be, did you feel spooky at any point or spooked or anything similar, any eerie thing about it? Because at one point in the fourth quarter, Ed said, Kev, this is the exact same score as it was 1,477 days ago.
Yeah, when it was 2014.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it. I was just thinking about how poorly we were playing offensively, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought defense settled down after the first drive.
They did.
But they left them out on the field too many times too. Some mental errors. We're just not there yet, and we'll continue to work it. It's like I told the guys after the game, we were very similar last year, only the difference is we lost game 3 and didn't play well. This year we didn't play well, but we found a way to win it.
Yes.
So instead of being 1-2, we're 2-1. And then, we have a very formidable opponent in Carroll College this year, but we're just not clicking yet. We have not put it all together. We've had spurts. We did some good things offensively, especially in the fourth quarter. We had a 8-play touchdown drive. We have 11-play drive that went out on downs, which was disappointing. Then we had the 8-play drive to win it at the end. But to the guys' credit, defense stayed in the fight. They found a way to keep getting us the ball back, even though we weren't doing much with it a lot of the night. But they kept getting us the ball back, and then we've done it before. You guys have seen it. You're down a couple touchdowns, and we're gonna fight. We're gonna play. We talk about it all the time. Just stay in the fight, and they did. And we found a way to win it. It wasn't pretty, but I'll take an ugly win over a real pretty loss. So we'll move forward now.
Well, winners win, and you found a way to win. And we look at the standings this morning in the Frontier Conference, and you guys are right there at the top at 1-0, 2-1 overall. So, like you mentioned, when we faced Game 3 last season, weren't victorious, but this year you turned it into a victory. So, Carroll College is coming up next, so you probably can't think about the Montana State University Northern game too much longer, other than right here on this next 15 minutes, and then it's on to Carroll.
Yeah, we wrapped it up today. We, did what we normally do with our film evaluations and met and talked personnel and all that kind of stuff. And by 1 o'clock, we were, on to doing our normal stuff and looking at Carroll College and getting ready for the next game. First big road trip in the Frontier. So we're excited about the challenge this week.
I think Ed's going to ask you some good questions about that, but before I transition to Ed, if you would, just comment on the touchdown from Tyler Duncan, the clutch gene that he possesses, the poise, the leadership, all those intangibles that we talk about, all the things that he just does, that you trust him. But what a play. What an absolute play. I'm surprised they didn't spy him. You heard us ask about that. Were you surprised how they defended you on that play? Or could you not? You can't defend TD in that sequence.
They were checking back to him all night. So and they had it set on that play. We tried to do a few things there. Tried to give TD some options, and then broke down a little bit. But we actually in the play we ran, we have an alternate if he comes out the backside. So I know it looks like we were running around just with our heads chopped off, but that was only part of it. Part of it, we actually knew what we were doing.
Well, pre-snap read, I think probably Tyler kind of dialed in, realized what you wanted to go to initially wasn't going to be there, and then it was a jailbreak.
Yeah, it was 14 and a half seconds of fun for the fans.
14, that would have been a nice stat to have.
Yeah,
14 and a half seconds. Wow.
I timed it. I'm like, I wonder how long this baby was. It was 14 and a half seconds of Tyler running around. And Tyler would tell you, if Tyler was sitting here, he'd tell you he was disappointed in the way he played in a lot of areas. And he's really going to be locked in and trying to do a better job this week. He made some really impactful big plays, but he also knows he left a lot of plays out there. But again, Tyler does what Tyler does sometimes, and that's why we're sitting here with a 2-1 record and 21-20 because he was able to get that done.
And as impressive as the touchdown was, there's little things inside of it, Coach, when you look at it, the blocking up front, and the fact that Tyler knew where the line of scrimmage was. He knew exactly where the line was, where he could only run and stop and throw the football. He knew exactly his limits to where he could go before he had to throw the ball to the wide receiver.
When he does that stuff, when he starts running around, he's very ultra aware of where he's at on the field in relationship to the line of scrimmage. And because we have a veteran offensive line, they know to stay involved in the play, waiting for guys to come back. And we picked off a few blocks, and that freed them up to kind of run through and stuff. And every team in college, professional football, whatever, that does scramble drills. What do you do? Where are you headed when the quarterback breaks down, or the play breaks down? Where the quarterback's going, and we do those things. So. Not that you want to live in it, but we do practice it, and that's why you practice it for occasions like that, and it worked our way.
Well, TD, he threw that ball, I think, around the 10, so he had 3 yards to work with because the ball, the original line of scrimmage was at the 7-yard line. So, and then how about Gerard Favors?
Favors, yeah.
Just the ability to continue to stay active and work the back of the end zone. Did you think that Tyler was going to potentially run it there? Because it looked like he might have had a clear path, but the safest route was to dump it over the top and let Gerard do his thing.
I don't even guess. I just watch. At that point in time, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm like, okay, right. He's there.
Well, we're watching
but with Tyler, you never know.
We're calling it, but you have to kind of react like it wouldn't have surprised anybody if he scored and housed it, right? That wouldn't have surprised anybody.
The funny thing is Gerard was in the back of the end zone early in the play, and they had a guy there, and he started to float, and the guy took off, and there it was. So Whatever. Not the way you draw it up. But
14 and a half seconds. That's what it was?
It works.
I got to write that one down.
14.24 to be exact.
14.24.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. Coach, another amazing player. Frontier Defensive Player of the Week, the Bell Lexus North Scottsdale Player of the Week, Cameron Tibbetts. He set a single-game tackling record, broke the Hitman's record of 15 tackles, along with 3 others, Tim? 2 others? 17 tackles, 15 assists. What more can you say about 4-1?
I'm lucky we picked him up. To be perfectly honest, we thought he was a pretty good football player watching him on film, but that kid has a motor. We haven't. Jake Hernandez had a motor, and
he did. Yes, he did.
And this kid may have just a little another gear or something. I don't. He's nonstop. He's going to play for 4 quarters. He's going to play fast, and he's going to put a hit on you. And he'll hit, friendly fire too. He hit some of our guys too. So, but he's the best thing about him is he's an awesome, faith-driven young man who is locked down in what it is to be a disciple of Christ and a college football player, and it's really cool to watch that. And I'm glad we got him this year and next year. So, he's doing it. Every down, man. He's doing it.
Couple things on Tibbs. One, we saw him after the game, and we were able to let him know that he was the Bell Lexus North Scottsdale Player of the Week, and he just kind of lit up right there. And then we told him that he had broken the record, and that was one of the reasons why he was the recipient of that award. And you talk about he's got some incredible blue eyes, right? So you don't forget those blue eyes. I know the ladies know what I'm talking about, but he's a handsome dude, and he was just beaming with those that realized that that you won, and that he was a big part of the win. And then we talked about the 17 tackles. That was pretty cool. I jokingly asked him, I said, dude, if we had another game in an hour, would you be all right? Could you play? He'd say, well, I mean, I'd give it all I have. And he literally said, I would, if we had another game, he would play another game.
He would.
Which we know that's just absurd. We were just having some fun with him.
Yeah,
but
he plays with an amazing amount of passion.
He does. 38 tackles through 3 games. He's number 1 in the country, and he's also number 1 in the Frontier Conference at a little over 12 and a half tackles a game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, welcome to ACU, my friend. And we mentioned that, too. Mm-hmm. Jacob, the Hitman Hernandez, when you're nicknamed the Hitman, you were special in your own right. And we're going to work on that for Cam. But Jacob Hernandez was one of the better linebackers we've ever seen suit up here. And Cam Tibbetts is in that same caliber of player.
Yeah.
Well, maybe another gear, like you said.
We've had some really, really fine young
Meier.
men. Austin was a heck of a linebacker, too. And, we could start rattling off some more.
Sure.
But I'm glad we got him right now. He's the anchor of the defense right now, and he's making a lot of plays.
Coach, right now, the young man that's wearing Hitman's jersey, number 25, Javier Fernandez, came up with a big interception on Saturday. What have you seen from that young man? Because he's playing with his helmet on fire, too.
Well, he needs to. He's been with us for a while. He knows what to do. He should be in there, and he's finally gotten to the point where he's producing and playing with some confidence and being where he's supposed to be and doing all those things you want from a player that's been in your program a couple years. And I'm excited for him. He got a chance to get on the field a lot on Saturday, and he responded. He had the 2 picks, 1 called back. That's another story.
Yeah.
But he was in position to make those plays, and he made quite a few plays in the game. And so I'm excited for Javier, and now I just want him to continue to grow and continue to develop in that linebacker that we need him to be.
Coach, you get out okay health-wise?
Yeah, pretty much. It's Jadron Williams, who got his first touches at running back and did a great job. He's got a little nicked up shoulder, so we'll see. We'll know by Wednesday because that's when we finalize our tickets.
Right.
So when we fly out of here, we got to make sure we're all good.
Yeah, get that manifest right.
Yeah, exactly. So
how about Stevie Plon?
Well, he got knocked out. It was, and that might have been friendly fire too. But it was just it's football. We know it. Football is a violent collision sport. It's not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. And That's why we do it. That's why guys love to play this game. It's special. But yeah, he got dung up a little bit, and he's gonna he won't play this week. But he's in good shape. We sent him in that night and had him checked. Everything's good. Concussion type thing. So he'll be in protocol, and they'll make the call when he's able to play. Hopefully he's back rolling next week.
A shout out to our director of sports medicine, Travis Armstrong. Him and his staff, and I believe even a member of the Northern Lights, they got over to Stevie in a hurry. And it's just with their reaction kind of changed the tone for us just a little bit of the seriousness of the nature. We kind of assumed that he got knocked out because he didn't move for the first 60 seconds.
Yeah,
or
he was taking a nap.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and yeah, Travis and his crew. When you watch it on film, it's crazy how instantaneously they were there.
Yeah.
We have an outstanding training staff. Travis does a great job, and he takes care of our guys. And luckily it was just, football play, and got a little concussion, but he'll be okay and ready to roll here in another week.
Good. Coach, we have Carroll College here in just a matter of days. You get to take the trip to Montana, and they were able to squeak by with a victory over Rocky Mountain. They won 21-20 as well. But you get to take on and try to slow down the conference's third-best passer, Mr. Jake Perka.
Yeah, Carroll is the history of NAI football. 6 national championships in a 9-year span, I think it was, or whatever, and a lot of conference championships, and they were in the tournament last year. It's funny, ironically, we played the number 1 seed, they played the number 2 seed. They're well coached. They play in front of full houses, and it's what you want to do. That's why we went in this conference. Let's step up against the best and see how you stack up. So we're excited about it. They're a quality football team. They've won 3 really close. They've played 3 really tough opponents to begin the season, and they've won 3 really close games. Defensively, they do a good job keeping you out of the end zone. Offensively, they're not scoring a ton of points, but they put 21 points on the board in 8 minutes to win that game on Saturday. So I'm sure it wasn't what they wanted, but they did it real fast, and all of a sudden, bang, they got the win. Mm-hmm. So that's what quality programs do. They expect to win.
It's kind of addictive. Both programs found ways to rally and win the game. So yeah. That's what you do. And there's been the reference that the Frontier Conference is that of the equivalent to, comparison's sake, of the SEC, the NAA. The Frontier is the SEC of the NAIA. So,
well, when you go top to bottom, and you've been watching these scores. It's close games, win it on the last play, and that's just it. There's what I think we have 3 teams in the top 15 right now, and a couple more receive. Our top 5 teams in the conference right now are receiving votes or in the polls or whatever. It's 2 in the top 10. Carroll's, I think, 10th, 9th or 10th or whatever. So, there's no days off. There are no days off anymore. You got to be ready to go to battle every week in the Frontier. That's for sure.
Well, Jeff, we wish you well, and we appreciate your time here tonight. And we're going to turn things over to the pitch. We're going to talk a little soccer with Coach Jolly, and we're going to talk a little goalkeeping with Carlos Gallardo, who's in the house.
Yeah.
And this
Defender of the Week.
They're off and running. I know they got a nice win this weekend in Oklahoma, I think it was. And so, I love ACU athletics. I saw they won, and the women's team won also, and they're both playing well. I know the girls are off to their best start in school history. So kudos to them. Let's just keep this going, keep the Firestorm rolling.
Yeah, that's a couple of Player of the Weeks, right? You mentioned it, Ed. I think you mentioned that Cam Tibbetts was the Frontier Conference Player of the Week. And then, of course, Carlos Gallardo was the Player of the Week.
Also, Brenna Sansini.
Yep.
She got the Defender of the Week, too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's ACU. It's really cool.
I was going to save that for when we brought up Gallardo, Ed.
I know you're impressed that the football coach knows what's going on with soccer.
We do.
Okay?
We
so,
do.
That's very impressive.
I follow all of ACU athletics.
That's the man right there. That's head coach Jeff Bowen. Talk a little football with us here on the Storm Report. We're going to take a short break. When we come back on the main stage, Coach Jolly and Carlos Gallardo right after this. Thank you.
Rolls.
We welcome you back to the Storm Report. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole, and joining us here is Carlos Gallardo and Joe Jolly with the men's soccer team. Fellas, welcome to the broadcast. How are you tonight?
Thank you. Good. And yourself?
Oh, we're doing real good. Right. Ed was just mentioning that Coach Jolly had a homecoming this past week in Oklahoma, and for ACU soccer team, you came away with a split. So, Coach, I'll just start with you. What was it like to get back home and spend some time with family, and then also pick up a victory along the way?
Yeah, it was great to be back. I think getting to see some of the places that you grew up and you get to play at, it was a great feeling. Great to come away with the win as well. So I think these guys showed well and got away with a good win.
What was on the menu, man? We heard that you got to have a good quality home meal and you grilled out a little bit, or what was on the menu that night?
Yeah, just had some good barbecue. I think we had some of my family came down and was able to help us out, get some food going for the boys. So it was really nice.
Good deal. Carlos, congratulations, Player of the Week, huh?
Thank you, yeah.
That's an impressive week of net minding. What was it like to be able to withstand a 1-0 deficit and then come back with 5 straight to pick up the win at Brian Harvey Field?
It feels good. The team, everybody was excited to play. We played one of the top teams, I believe, in NIA, and then it just feels good. It doesn't feel good to lose, but it feels good to take a 2-1 loss at least.
Okay.
Coach, I was going to ask you, playing a nationally ranked team, Mid-America, even though you, like Carlos said, you came out on the losing side, still 2-1 to only hold a team that good to 2 goals on the road?
Yeah, obviously no one enjoys taking defeats, but if you're gonna lose, might as well be to the best in the nation and to keep it close. So I think it was good showing for us as well as showing for our conference. So.
One of the great things about playing competitively and having a guy in between the pipes that you can rely on. And Carlos, it seems like, I know we had you at center stage on this show a year ago, and you were probably collecting accolades at that point in the season as well. So you are a mainstay back there. And what's it like being a pillar of strength for this team as part of the defensive unit, if you will?
It feels good. I'm not the only one person back there, but there's, I would say, 5 people in front of me as well that,
of course,
they don't get the most credit they deserve, but they help me out a lot.
Name some of those defensemen. Just give some of those guys a shout-out, some of the guys that make it easy for you, so to speak.
There's Yannick, and Jake, and then my wingbacks, Thiago and KG.
All right. We saw Thiago Suarez get a marker here this past win, so that's nice to see. And we've seen Thiago on the show here. So
also Micah Rickard.
Yeah.
So we had Micah on a few weeks ago.
You bet.
Carlos, so when the ball is all the way on the away from where you are and you're just kind of you're waiting for your time for the ball to come back in your direction, what's going through your mind when it's not downtime, but time when it's not when the ball's not in your area and it's time for you to go to work?
Yeah, you just got to focus on everybody else on the field. So you got to focus on their wingers, their midfielders, who are open for them. You got to tell people to close in the gap so they won't get an easy breakaway.
So your communication is still up as far as you talking with your guys from that distance?
Very key.
CG, I'm curious what the most difficult kick to defend is. I assume it's the PK because it's a 50-50 deal. You can go left or right, and who knows? You could win the goal or lose it on that one move, right or left. Outside of the penalty kick, what's the most difficult kick to defend? Is it the one a guy's breaking one-on-one and a breakaway, or is it that one where it's another penalty type kick situation, but it's further off the goal box, and maybe someone tries to bend it around over 6 or 7 guys in front of you? What's the one that you feel to be most challenging?
I would say the most challenging is when they're outside the 18 and there's a lot of people in front of you.
Okay.
You sort of lose the ball, and then you just have to react to it.
Okay. And these guys can absolutely move it around. They can bend it into corners, low areas. It's pretty impressive with the ability that these soccer players are playing with now. It's unbelievable. Coach, you might even be able to speak to this as well.
Yeah, I think that the talent level year by year gets better and better and better. I think we saw that this weekend in Oklahoma, playing against 2 top teams, seeing guys that we don't normally see throughout the year. So it was good for us to get a good taste from that and to kind of test ourselves against them.
Coach, in addition to being an assistant coach, you've got another hat, recruiting coordinator. I would assume winning your first GSAC regular season title last year, being 10-3-5, that will help with recruiting. Being 5-2 so far, starting up with a really good start this season, that would help with recruiting because talent looking to maybe go to another program, looking at your program, it's one of the preeminent programs in the GSAC.
Yeah, I think winning always helps. Winning helps everything. So a lot of guys, they want to play for championships. They want to play for wins. They don't want to go into programs where it's a little iffy there. So I think it helps us out a lot by performing well. It helps us out across the board with keeping guys here, keeping guys happy, and then also bringing new guys in.
We've talked about the defense, and Carlos has obviously been standing on his head back there, but your team has outscored the opposition 14-7 and scoring goals. So, Coach, maybe you could talk to the ability of your offense and how you're spreading it around a little bit. There doesn't seem to be one guy that's putting the basket all the time. You're utilizing the entire team. Yeah,
I think that the whole team has done well from the first 11 all the way down to all of our subs. It's been great to have. I think the depth of our team is what makes us a quality team this year. I think that using every single guy is what's going to bring us success this season. And having multiple guys get on the score sheet is obviously a great thing to do for us. It shows that we're not just scoring from one area of the field. It's multiple guys. They're knocking it around, and it's a good feeling.
CG, going on the road for 2, going to Oklahoma City, whatever city you go to, what does that do as far as building your relationship with your brothers and that bond that you're building over the course of a season, going on the road, knowing that the world is against you because you're going into enemy territory? They want you to lose as opposed to being at home when everybody wants you to win.
It feels good. Usually when we travel, we try to buddy up with people, but then when we get to the hotel, they usually separate us so we can all get along with each other. And then usually we'll meet up, have a fun activity, but then when it's time to play, we lock in a little bit because not a lot of people let us win in their home. So it's a good feeling when we do.
So, Coach Jolly, who's setting up those room assignments? You or Teddy K?
I think it's a mixture of everybody, a mixture of both of us. This weekend, actually, the hotel did it for us. We had a list of names that we gave them, and they went ahead and split them up for us. So made our jobs really easy.
What's the dynamic in your relationship with Coach Ted Krizwicki? How do you guys kind of work with each other together?
I think we work together pretty well. Obviously, being his assistant, it's whatever he needs, kind of whatever we're doing at the time. I think he respects my opinion a lot, so it gives me more confidence to speak up and speak out and help lead the team with him.
So, Coach, you've got one more. You got Benedictine on Wednesday, 2 days from now, and then you kick off GSAC play. You've got 3 straight road games: Jessup, Menlo, and OUAZ. So, it's about to get really real with that GSAC play, right?
Yep, definitely. We've got one more out of conference game with Ben U that we're looking forward to. It's definitely the one what we're thinking about right now. And then as soon as we finish that, it's on to Jessup and the trip to San Francisco. So we're excited to get it going.
Coach Jolly, how much time do you get to spend with Teddy K? I feel like you guys have some similarities, some as far as how you speak and the mindset. I just feel like, and it's a compliment all across the board. It just seems like you guys spend some time together.
Yeah, we definitely. I think we spend more time with each other throughout the season than we do with probably anybody else.
Okay.
Sometimes even more than your family. Sometimes,
yep,
right, Coach?
Sometimes more than that, but it's great. I love working with them. I think we get along great, and so it's a good situation.
When it comes to communication between your players and you and Coach K, what is that two-way or between players and coaches as far as communication? If the players have some suggestions on things that they would like to see implemented offensively, defensively, are you and Coach K open to that?
Yeah. So we, obviously it's a player-led game. We're not out there calling plays. We're not out there, calling timeouts or able to stop the game in any way. So these guys have to problem solve on their own. So we pull a lot from what they see and what they're thinking and what they feel during the game, and we'll kind of either give them some ideas to think about, or if they see something that we don't, obviously they're the guys on the field, and so we like to trust our players and we like to trust their ideas a lot too.
Coach, I got one more for you. Carlos, we're coming back to you. Don't worry. We got more stuff for you. But, Coach, if you had to try to sell somebody the idea of coming out to Firestorm Field or ACU Football Field and watching a soccer game, what would be some things that you would try to highlight in that sales pitch, if you will? Or if I was trying to buy season tickets, what kind of offense do you have? If you could, show me the program for a second.
Yeah, so I'd say you're going to see a really exciting attacking play, and you're going to see really, really stubborn defense. I think with Carlos and our other defenders back there, we don't like to give away much, and so I think making teams frustrated with our defense is a big thing. And then also it's a very high-paced athletic game. I think college soccer in general, as far as soccer across the board goes, college soccer is probably the fastest compared to high school and even to pro. So it's a very, very high-paced, lots of action, very exciting. And then normally, lately, especially here at home, we've had some really exciting goals to end games with.
You want to get a couple tickets, Ed? I'm in.
Yeah, let's go.
That's from Joe Jolly. That's good. I like it. I was looking for the up tempo and some of those adjectives that you described right there, and electrifying, game-winning goals is also right up there.
Yes. CG, for you to get Defender of the Week, now it's twice this season. Does that motivate you more to say, okay, Ben U, I got to go out there and really show now that I got Defender of the Week and everybody's looking at me because of the performances that I do on a game-by-game basis? Does that kind of help you up your game, knowing, okay, I've got this status now?
I don't focus too much on it. Usually I just try to play every game like it's usually my last game. Winning an award is okay, but I'd rather prefer to win as a team than just to get an individual award.
I was trying to figure out who there's like historically a stud goalie, and there might be a couple that could ring a bell. Hopefully you could introduce us to a couple of them, but in soccer, we always go to like Ronaldo, or if you're a little older like Ed, you go to Pele or something like that. So for you, who's a guy that you would revere in the box? A goalie, a professional goalie, or just somebody that you look up to?
That's still playing present?
No,
or
any point.
Yeah, past, present.
I would say my favorite goalkeeper is Iker Casillas.
Okay, and where's he play?
He used to play in Real Madrid.
Okay.
Well, he was well known in Real Madrid and
All
in
right.
Spain.
See, the goalies aren't household names, right? The only household goalie name I know is Carlos Gallardo. So, I mean, that's just now. I'm not in the right circuits for soccer, obviously, but if that's the only goalie I know of, right out there's someone who's not doing a good job of marketing goalies. I got to say, because I'm in the thick of a lot of sports, so that's my take.
Carlos, do you look at him and kind of follow a lot of his tendencies on the way he plays goalie, or does he still play now?
He doesn't play now.
Okay.
He's a retired player, but there's another player that I like. His name is Keylor Navas, and I really respect him because where he's from is not the biggest place. It's called Costa Rica, and usually he saves his team from every game they play, and I try to mimic that as like his reflexes are very fast. He's not the tallest goalkeeper as well, so he has to react quick on the ground and then just try his best in the air.
Good stuff right there from Carlos Gallardo. Two quick ones. Fast fire here. Rapid fire, I like to say. It's not going to be that big of a deal, so just so you know.
Yeah.
I would like to know who's the most intense guy on the soccer team, and then who's the guy that keeps everybody kind of loose. So it's two questions. Who's the most intense hombre out there right now that you get to practice against, that you get to step on the field with and play games with?
The most intense I'll probably say is Yannick.
Yannick?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Coach, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think right now, like verbally and just how he holds himself, he's a big player and he has a big personality, and so he definitely gets the team going during practices.
All right, on the other side of that, compare and contrast, who's kind of loosey-goosey, who likes to laugh a little bit and, do the hot fire around your shoes or something like that?
I would say it's Marlon.
Who's that again?
Marlon.
Marlon, okay. All right, Marlon. Keeping it loose for us, Marlon. Appreciate that. Ed, close it up for us.
CG, so when you got your Beats or AirPods, whatever you got on, what's your go-to playlist to get you hyped up for a game? Like when you're on the bus leaving from the air, like when you're on the way to the field in Oklahoma City, you're leaving the hotel, you're on the bus heading there. What are you listening to kind of get you locked in and focused on your game?
I love to play Peso Pluma. It's a Spanish artist.
Okay.
It's very dancey, and I like to dance a lot, so I usually listen to him before I go.
Here's what's great about that. I chuckle because all the those three things that we wanted to know about you, Ed can't relate to that because he doesn't know who those guys are.
I have no idea
and
who
I don't
that
know
is.
who they are either.
Me neither.
I'm just poking fun at Ed. But Carlos, thank you so much for being here. And we know that your job is to get it done in school, grow your relationship with Jesus.
Amen.
And the fact that you're the player of the week 2 times running, you've multiple times now, probably 3 or 4 going back to last year, and that you're in the zone stopping the ball. Congratulations to you.
Thank
Yes.
you guys so much.
Congrats, CG.
Coach Jolly, always a pleasure. And last thing before we close out, what kind of barbecue? We're talking pulled pork here, chicken,
Yep.
some of the best brisket.
You got to have brisket, right, Coach?
Yep, we had brisket, pulled pork,
Oh,
and chopped brisket as well. So
Oh, my goodness.
it was
Any burn ends?
No burn-ins this week. But it was a good meal. I think the boys enjoyed it, and they got a little taste of Oklahoma. So it was.
Anytime
it was good.
you get that back in that type of environment, we'll take a plate to go. All right.
All right,
Coach
I got
Jolly,
you.
We appreciate you. For Ed Cole and all of our guests tonight, we want to thank head coach Jeff Bowen for being our guest, as well as Justin Wright was here, and we also spoke with Griffin Meier, and we want to thank Peyton Moses, the man that gets down behind the glass, and then, of course, our SID, our Assistant Athletic Director, Mr. Tim Gosen. So for Ed Cole and everybody else, I'm Kevin Derryberry. Until next time, so long for now.
Good night.